Hey guys, it's James here. Today I'll be building a voice agent that qualifies leads and puts them right into your GoHighLevel CRM. For today's tech stack, all we'll need is Retell AI for the voice agent, Make.com for the backend, and GoHighLevel for the CRM. And I'll give you guys a demonstration of how this agent sounds and walk you through the flow step by step. So first, we'll just give it a call with the number that I have attached, bought from Twilio.
Hi, thanks for calling Simply Pools. How can I help you today?
Hi, yeah, my name is James. I actually work for the city of Toronto. I just was looking to get some of our recreational center pools remodeled.
Thank you so much, James. Could you please provide the best phone number to reach you in case we need to follow up?
Yeah, that would be 289-237-0598.
Thank you, James. Could you tell me a bit more about the type of pool remodel you're interested in for the recreational centers?
Yeah, just standard pools to be built, so maybe about 25 meters by 50 meters, something like that, just for a few new recreation centers.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing those details. When would you ideally like the remodeling to take place, or do you have a preferred date in mind?
No preferred date right now. I'm just looking to really work with a good contracting company so that we could give some dates to the city.
Of course, that makes perfect sense. How urgent is this project for you in the city? Are you looking to get started as soon as possible, or is there some flexibility?
There is some flexibility, but if we find the right fit, then I don't see why not get started working as soon as possible.
Thank you, James. That's very helpful. Just to confirm, I have James from the City of Toronto looking to remodel standard pools, approximately 25M x 50M for several new recreation centers with flexibility on timing, but hoping to start soon if it's a good fit. Is that correct?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Perfect. I'll pass this information along to our scheduling team, and they'll be in touch within 24 hours to discuss your pool remodel needs in more detail. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
No, that's everything.
Thank you.
We'll end the call there. So just quickly show you guys exactly what happened, as I had detailed in my prompt that it should call the make tool call, which I have as a custom function right here. As it calls that tool function, or it silently calls that function after confirming all the information is correct, it will send all the custom variables or the dynamic variables to make.com via a webhook. And then it will go through this step here. I'll go through this later and then change it into variables and then add it all into GoHighLevel, so that now we should, when we reload, now we have a contact added into our GoHighLevel CRM. If you're new here, my name is James, and I'm the co-founder of Simply Voice AI. We build voice agents that enable business owners to never miss a lead and to focus on scaling their business to the best of their ability. If you're interested in transforming your business in this new wave of AI, click the first link in the description for a free one-on-one consultation. As I mentioned at the start of the video, the platform we'll be using to build this agent on is Retell AI. If you're unfamiliar with Retell AI, just to put it simply, it is a platform that is used to build these voice agents and connect phone numbers to. It allows you to do many things like making different types of function calls like the ones that we just did or the one that you just saw, link it to different platforms like make.com or n8n. So if you haven't already, you could just click the link in the description to get started and signed up. It'll take you straight to this page. Click join/login, and then for you, it'll log me in right away. But for you, you could just sign up with Google. When you're just creating a new agent, the first thing you want to do is obviously click create an agent, a voice agent. And then for most of my use cases, I find it better to use single prompt agents unless it is a larger build out. But for this use case, we'll just be doing a single prompt agent. You'll click create and it'll show you a blank canvas. Here is where you will build out your prompt. So obviously I already have the prompt made and I'll just go to the agent that I already have pre-built. But with this, I'll go through some of the best practices when it comes to building a voice agent prompt in one of my later videos. But for now, you could just copy and paste the prompt that I have just to see how it works. And then other main things that we need to pay attention to and make sure that we know what it does is the functions section over here. Retell automatically adds all their agents with the end call function, which is pretty cool because I know Vappy doesn't do that, and they actually didn't used to do that. But with this, it just As long as you put in the prompt that the agent understands the logic of when to end a phone call, it can end the phone call naturally as a regular human would. And there's different types of functions that can be made. Something I really like about Retell is that it has the check calendar availability and book on the calendar with cal.com. So it just makes it really easy to have your Google Calendar connected or whatever calendar you use, whether it's Outlook. And it just has a bunch of different tool functions, but we're not focusing on that specifically today. And another main thing that I want to point out is just a knowledge base. So like I was saying, when you have those bigger projects, you could add a knowledge base in here just for all of the important information of your business or whatever business you're building this out for if you were um, an agency owner. And there's just all these other things I like to just leave as standard. I don't really change too much over here. But yeah, the platform itself is pretty simple. The only other thing that sometimes I will touch is the webhook URL. If I didn't want to make a whole new tool, I just wanted to do like an end of call summary or something like that, just because this would just send the transcript to whatever the webhook is. So you could again connect it to Make. It would send the transcript, and you could do whatever you want. You could send it to your CRM as well as just a summary of the call, or just send it to or a ChatGPT module, and then it would summarize the call for you. So that's pretty simple. If we take a look here, this is the example of the prompt that I just used for the demo that you guys just heard. I'll just go over some of the best practices that comes with making a voice agent prompt specifically. The first number one thing is to make sure that it is written in Markdown format. If you're unsure what Markdown format is, an extremely simple explanation is that it's almost like a different type of language that the LLM reads a lot better. That again is very loose and very, very vague, but that's just the simplest way I could put it. If you see, the way that it appears here isn't the way that the LLM reads it. It reads it like this. This is just a markdown preview. If you write it like this, as you can see, when you have one of those hashtag symbols, that makes it a heading. So that marks that it is a main section in your prompt. If you wanted to, when you put two of them, it is a subheading. So that just marks that it's under the prompt or under the same heading. So if I were to do this, roll, and then do two, and then I just said whatever simply, this would just mark that it is still under the role or is part of the role. So the agent should read it as such. That's just with that. And then another big thing with Markdown is that these symbols here, I'm not sure how you would even describe them, but this symbol right here, when you do that, that's just like a bullet point. But if you make sure you don't do a space, Markdown format is very, very case sensitive as well. So it's something to be aware of. When it comes to the headings, the main headings I like to use are role, context, specifics, and then this is usually a little bit different depending on the use case. For this use case, it's very simple, I just decided to do it. But usually I'll have it integrated more naturally. Usually I'll put it in the specifics, or maybe just as a subheading, the specifics. And then with the task, it's just, again, going over the exact task in the order that you want it to go through, of how you want the agent to go through things. And with the tone and style, just letting the agent know that it needs to be extremely warm, friendly, and professional. That's the best settings I've found for a lot of these customer service use cases, just because you do really have to prompt the agent almost like it's dumb, because if it's a learning model, so it's powered by the LLM, which just rapidly learns. So you have to really just tell it exactly what you want. Any sense of vagueness opens up possibility to anything going wrong with your voice agent. And then at the end of call, this is something I've started doing more frequently, but just end of call guidelines, just so the agent knows exactly what to do at ending a call. So just make sure that the user doesn't have any other questions. Make sure that the agent did everything that it needs to do in order to help the agent. And then by name, explicitly tell it to use the end call function that I mentioned before, the end call function over here. And then at the end, just put it at notes, or just some notes that if you're testing the agent, you find that it's doing something like it's saying the word okay or it's saying thank you too many times. I like to put it in here to like not say thank you or use thank you twice throughout a whole conversation. Or sometimes agents love to just give long responses that don't really feel human. Usually I find that a lot when I'm using a lot of these OpenAI modules or OpenAI settings. And then when you put it like that, then it would just keep responses to 2 sentences, so that's really just a human flowing natural conversation. The last thing I want to touch on is just our make tool as well. This, like I said, we have it configured here so that the webhook is here as a post. We'll get a little bit more into this when I go through the make setup as well. But all you would be doing is just letting it know when it needs to use that tool. So it's just like anything in life. You could give someone a tool, but if they don't know when to use that tool, then they'll just be either using it randomly or just not at all. So you just need to make sure to explicitly tell it when to use that tool and to explicitly tell it to use that tool silently. Because if not, you'll get very robotic sounding things like calling make tool success, which obviously if you're building a customer service agent for a business or even for your own business, then having that little thing will really deter people from even wanting to move forward with you. So that's everything for the retail side of things. The next thing that we want to set up is to make sure that we have a GoHighLevel account set up. If you don't already, GoHighLevel is always running these either 14-day free trials, or if you search hard enough, you can probably find a 30-day free trial. But some of these promotions where there's no contract, no obligation, no nothing, so you just, and it's cancel anytime as well. So you can just log into the app. And then when you're in this app, it will look different for you, but you'll just want to switch to your sub accounts. For now, I just have it as Simply Voice because that's my agency name. In this use case, I already deleted the contact that we had there for the demo just because it doesn't let you have any duplicates. But the only thing that we really need to set up here, or I need to delete this, I should say, but the only thing that we really need to make sure to set up is the custom fields. I'll show you guys right now. If you didn't see what I just did, I just clicked settings in the bottom left. If you scroll to custom fields, these are just the fields that you'll have under context. So whenever you have a contact, there will be different things that you'll be able to fill out. So when you add a new contact manually, you'll see that you could put the name, company name, or really just whatever field you need specifically for your business use case. But some of the fields that we require won't be there. So some of the things that we'll put is we just go back and look at our prompts, what it's collecting for. And then as you see, this wouldn't be just naturally in GoHighLevel. So you could add a custom field. They have the different types of fields. So for this, we'll just say single line. Go to next and we'll configure it. The field name, we'll just put type of pool and make sure that it's set to be under the contact, and then leave it as under the contact group just so it's easy to find. And then you could either put some type of placeholder, like I'm not sure, you can put oval pool or rectangular. That's just so that when we're mapping it later in make.com, then we can see exactly what it is. So we'll just search that up, type of pool, and then yes, type of pool, everything here. So now that we have GoHighLevel set up, like I said, that's really the only thing we need to do is just add a few of these special custom fields. And we'll just delete this, and I'll just show you guys how to get everything set up in make.com. Now we're here in make.com. If you're unfamiliar with what make.com is just a back-end automation tool. So it just allows you to connect different apps or different types of websites, so like retail to GoHighLevel to Google Sheets or anything like that, just via using just your native connections that you have or just API calls. When it comes to making the pricing, you can get about 1,000 free credits on their free plan. So when you're just starting out, that is honestly way more than enough to get just some of the trial runs in and to test it out. And even when you move up to the core plan, I believe this one here has 10,000 credits. So that's just a bit, it's a big step up. So when you go to log in, if it weren't on my account, because when I click login, it'll take me straight to my account. But if you weren't to log in, it will just give you the option, like everything else, to sign up with Google, sign up with just your email, or just something like that. So you can sign up however you like. I always just recommend signing up with Google. It's a lot quicker. When you get to the dashboard here, you always have the option to create a scenario and just kind of giving you analytics on your already running scenarios. As you see here, it's a very sleek, very nice design, something that I like about it a lot. But the way you just search things up, you just search up an app for modules like what would need, in this case, would be a webhook. Webhook is just a way in order to send in or to receive data in this case. So it'd be a custom trigger for a webhook. You would set up the webhook, name it whatever you want, and then you would let's just make a new one right now. We'll save that, and then it will give you a webhook URL in the same way in make.com or in Retell, I should say. When we made our tool, we had it set up with a webhook for our automation so that every single time that tool is called, it sends all the information over to the webhook. So now we will not save this because we don't need it. But we'll go right into the automation that we need. This is the scenario that I used for the example that I just showed you guys earlier in the video. With this, it's very simple. As you can see, only a 4-node setup. There's often a misconception that you have to have a super complex workflow that has 1,000 different modules with 1,000 different logic pieces, different things like that. But in order to get a production level automation, it's honestly a lot better when it's simpler. Obviously, there will be times where it needs to be complex and it needs to be longer, but just doing it for the sake of doing it really adds friction when it comes to handing this system over to a business owner. And then also when it comes to debugging and seeing where things go wrong. So when it's a lot simpler like this, as long as it gets done exactly what you need it to get done, that's all that matters at the end of the day. So I'll just walk through each of these modules and how they're set up. First, we'll start with the webhook module. We already slightly touched on it. So obviously we have our custom webhook mapped directly into our make tool in Retell. It's the exact same over here. That's how it just sends over all the information. All the information that was sent, it just simply sent it the confirmation that was, where is it? All the different fields that were confirmed in the phone call. Where is it here? It should just be passing over the transcript. Yeah, there it is. Transcript. So it just goes over everything in here. This is just a transcript over here. And then I have it mapped so that it passes everything over to an OpenAI, so a ChatGPT module, and then it analyzes the transcript and then identifies each variable. I'll just go into depth a little bit on this. So when you're setting up an OpenAI module, as you can see here, when we add a module, there's a bunch of different options when you click OpenAI. But what we need to do is generate a completion. So it's just a chat completion. So when given input, give output, which is obviously different than a lot of these other options. And then you can just set it up, but it's not connected to anything, so it won't work on this. Let's just delete that. And then I'll just go through the prompt. So you just give it a developer system prompt, so an overarching prompt, letting it know, similar to how we prompted our voice agent, hey, this is what you do. I'm going to give you this tool, or I'm going to give you this piece of information. I need you to give me this in return. So with this, we have the developer system. It's just basically saying that. And then I just let it know, you're an assistant for a pool remodeling company. Your job is to analyze an inbound phone call transcript and extract key information to help business handle booking and consultations. They're just letting you know exactly what it is and just letting you know that it should always return in structured JSON. When it's talking in JSON, that just makes it easier to pass along variables and to just for everything to communicate with each other. If you're unfamiliar with JSON, don't be intimidated by it. It's just another, basically not necessarily a coding language, but it's just a way for these models to communicate each other in a more efficient way. Like this right here is an example of JSON. So obviously you could read it. So don't be intimidated and thinking, I don't know how to code. I don't know how to do this. It's very simple. This is just some of the fields that we have here. Not all of them will end up being filled out, at least from the demo call that I had. But this was just made with the assumption that it's like a production level, production grade automation. So with this, it would just take the basic things like caller name, company name, callback number. In this case, didn't take an email, but type of pool to remodel, different things like that. And then it just gives it definitions, and then just to give it more context so it knows exactly what it's doing. And then I just feed it in the transcript, meaning that every single time that the this is run, so when a call is made and then the transcript is sent over, this would just be actually filled out exactly with all of this wrong thing. It'll be filled out with this right here. So this would literally be copy and pasted into here. I can actually just show you an example right now in this moment. And then as we go through, this is just to parse the JSON. So as it passes as an output, I'll just show you guys what it's outputted over here. Let's just see. So I outputted everything as JSON. And just to ensure that it stays in that format, I pass it on to here to make everything into separate strings. And then as we get to the GoHighLevel module, just it's simple, create a contact. You'll need to connect your account. It's very easy to do so. Just connect with OAuth, and then you can map all the variables. The way you map things are, as you click on it, you'll see everything is parsed, and it would be put onto here. So when you're looking for phone number, there's examples right here. So you can just put the callback number and then first name, put the caller name, and you get the gist. And then as we ran it, you saw everything went through and was added successfully. As you can see, implementing a system like this directly into your business really just holds so much potential. So again, if you want to see how it could look into your process and enable you to help grow and scale your business, just click the first link in the description and we can have a one-on-one free consultation. I appreciate those of you who stuck around to the end of the video. For my fellow builders and entrepreneurs, if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to leave a question in the comments. I'll make sure to get back to it, whether it be about the developmental side of things or the business side of running an agency. I'll make sure to get back to you as soon as possible. That's all I got for you guys today. Until next time.